So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about meal prepping, and what I'm going to start with is super simple. The first thing that you can do to start on a meal prepping journey, if you will, or to even just begin with the basics, is that you can make a menu of meal items that you know that you like, and then try and use those same food items to make a menu for the other meals that you'll be eating. So for example, if you are making spaghetti, you're going to be using tomatoes or tomato sauce. Try and make another meal that week that's going to utilize tomatoes or tomato sauce. That way you cut down on food waste, and that'll save you some money in the long run. The next thing that you can do, and that I wish somebody told me when I started out, is it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be really simple. And so when I first started out with meal prepping and making my own food, I was like making these big elaborate meals and then putting them in the fridge. And it doesn't have to be like that. It can be really, really simple, and it can save you a ton of time. So my first tip for you that way would be take 2 sheet pans, really simple. Cut up vegetables that you know that you like together. So like I like zucchinis and yellow squash together, and then I put olive oil on it and I seasoning on it and I stick it in the oven. And then on another pan, put other food that you like together. So like maybe asparagus or cherry tomatoes, whatever it is that you like, put it on another pan and put it in the oven. And then you have 2 vegetable items as options. And then the next thing that you do is you make 2 protein options. So then you have 2 vegetable options and 2 protein options. Because a big thing that people say is, well, what if I get bored of it during the week? This prevents mealtime boredom. You can always choose, you can have 4 different combinations that way, and it makes it really simple and effective. The next thing that I'm going to suggest is making a big container of carbohydrates. So whatever you choose that week. My usual go-to is quinoa, but I also eat rice and sweet potatoes. And so making those in bulk as well, and then scooping them into the containers with your protein and with your vegetables, and then mixing and matching different containers so that you again prevent boredom. As you go, you might want to start making more and more elaborate meals, which is something that I've been doing lately. But if you get stuck in a rut and you're like, man, this really kind of sucks, go back to making it simple. I think we can all kind of get stuck in a rut, and so this way it prevents you from getting bored, and it also prevents you from taking a ton of time in the kitchen unless you want to. And my last bit of advice is having good containers for food storage. If you are going to be making meals that you want to keep for several days, you need to have good quality food containers for storage, so that your food doesn't go bad, or so that your food doesn't get freezer burn, refrigerator burn, what have you. And so my recommendation are Gladware for things that you're going to eat raw, like these raw vegetables I'm going to eat with hummus. So the reason why I suggest these is because they're cheap, they're easy to find, and if you lose a lid, again, they're easy to find, so the lids are easy to replace. The suggestion I have for things that you are going to reheat, or things that you've cooked that you're then going to put in the fridge, is that you put them in glass containers. I use Anchor containers, you can look them up online. I also have a post up already on my blog about starting meal prepping. It's called Beginner's Guide to Meal Prep, and it talks about the things that you need before you start prepping your food. Excuse my dog's squeaky toy. So I do have that up on my blog as well. And my blog is completely free to access, so if you check it out, there's a lot of different food tips, recipes, even some lifestyle things that you might find helpful during this time where we're spending more and more time at home. So feel free to check that out. And the other thing that I'm passionate about is helping people start meal prepping. So, sorry again for this chew toy. So if you are wanting to start meal prep and you aren't sure where to start, send me a message, reach out. I would love to help you live a happier and healthier life through nutrition. And if you have something that you're like, I don't know how to use this, I bought it and I thought that it would be good in something and it wasn't, let me know and we can see if we can figure out a recipe, because I really enjoy doing that. Making new recipes is kind of my jam. So I am going to, without further ado, go ahead and show you some of my meal prep items, some of my meal prep choices, and how I use and incorporate foods into multiple dishes that I can use throughout the week. I talk minimally about food storage and that, so if you have extra questions about food storage or how long things stay good for in the fridge, also send me a message or drop me a comment. Let's go ahead and get started with some of these tasty treats. So to start with here, I'm going to go through again some of the food choice options that I like to have around. And the reason why I like to have them around is because they can go with multiple different meals and dishes that I'm going to show you here. So the first one that I'm going to show you for snacks. So I even like to plan out my snacks, and when I meal prep, I also food prep. I prepped all of the veggies here, and I'll eat them with hummus, or I buy fruit and I make sure I have fruit available. And I usually eat like almonds or walnuts with the fruit so that it's not just a blood sugar spike when I eat fruit. And the hummus with the veggies makes me fuller for longer. So those are two types of snacks that I like to have on hand: fruits and nuts and veggies and hummus. The next little dealie here that I have prepared are smoothie bags. And you'll notice that I do have spinach in here and I do have cucumbers. I had cucumbers in the dish over here. So again, things that can be used for multiple different dishes. I have this almond milk here, and I also use that in my coffee. So again, a dual purpose. And then this is just the bag of fruit that I get. I got that one from Target, but I like to get the tropical blend from Walmart too. Really, it's just plain frozen fruit. And then I do have some blackberries in here as well. Just trying to make it so that there's a variety of fruits and vegetables in my smoothie bags. The only thing that you can't really add to the smoothie bag is if you add protein to your smoothies, or if you want to add yogurt to your smoothie, you need to add that in the morning, and you need to add your liquid in the morning as well. The rest of this can be frozen and just dumped right into your blender. The next thing here I have is, it's kind of a little bit of a treat. I do protein balls, and I have a recipe for protein balls, and I also have a recipe for smoothies up on my blog. And so the protein balls that I normally do are Bob's Red Mill oats with different dried fruit, peanut butter, honey, natural sweeteners. These ones have bananas in it too. And dark chocolate chips. You can see there just a little bit of something sweet that's not going to totally like derail my day. And then here, these are actually yellow beets. And so I wanted to share this recipe with you, and I'll send it. This recipe is the most well-received recipe that I have put on Pinterest and on my blog. It's been saved several times and repinned over 300 times now, I think. And so it's rosemary, garlic, beets, and sweet potatoes. Super simple. And then on one of the pans that I'll be using. The other pan today has squash on it because I'm going to make squash soup, but normally the other pan that I lay out has green vegetables on it. But I already made those earlier this weekend, so they are in my fridge, and I'm going to use up the squash that I have. Here is the garlic infused olive oil that I like to use to make the beets and sweet potatoes, and then the rosemary. I love allspice. I'm obsessed with it. It's in the East Village, and they do online orders, so you can have some too. The other thing over here, and this is the greens that I made earlier in the week. I actually didn't put them on a pan. I seared them in a cast iron.
I love cast irons. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're really the way to go. But you can cook with anything. What I did was I had made some bacon earlier in the day. I used the bacon grease to make as the oil for my Brussels sprouts. And then I added some pomegranate balsamic, again from Allspice, because like I said, I'm kind of obsessed with them. And then garlic pepper steak seasoning on top of it as well. Adding those things together just gives it a really good flavor, and that's the second most well-received recipe on my blog, so we can link to that too. If you want to try that, it'll be up and ready for you. And then the next thing here as an option, like I had said, I really like having different foods that can be used for multiple things that I'm making during the week. It reduces food waste, which I'm also big on, having worked at Catholic Worker House when I was in college here in Des Moines. So the bacon can be used here for the egg muffins, as can some of the things we're going to be talking about next. But egg muffins are super easy. I also have them up on my blog. You can use the bacon. You can use whatever you want, really. But basically, you just you spray it with no stick spray, put in whatever vegetables and meats you want, and then crack an egg over it, and it should be good to go. Another thing you can do is you can mix them all up beforehand, and then you can pour the egg mixture, basically like a scrambled egg, over the top of it. And then you stick it in the oven and it'll be good to go. You can store them in a plastic bag that's resealable or Tupperware container for 3 to 5 days in the fridge pretty easily. Some people store it for longer, but not my preference. I prefer to eat the eggs right away. So it's just my take on it. Not necessarily food safety exactly, but better safe than sorry in my mind. So along with being able to use the bacon for the eggs, you can also use peppers, onions, tomatoes, spinach. Here I have another option for a week that you could do. In this container here, I have ground turkey that I made turkey tacos with. And then I did a healthy-ish version of a turkey walking taco. So use the turkey, use some garden salsa corn chips, used the spinach and peppers, salsa, and tomato as the toppings, and then ate it up. It was really good. But that's another option that you can use. And again, all of these foods can be used in the egg muffin tins. Well, most of them can. And so it's nice because it's dual purpose. And then the last thing, and this is the new recipe that I'm going to post later today, is I'm going to be making squash soup. And again, the green onions can be used in the squash soup. They can be used in the turkey tacos, and they can be used in the egg muffins. So really versatile foods, which I think is important, because then you aren't wasting time and money picking out a bunch of different things that you can't use more than once. And then the last thing I have here is I had made and frozen a bunch of vegetables from a couple weeks ago, and I set them out to thaw because I did make some chicken and turkey the other day. So I have that to eat with the vegetables as well. So it really just provides you a lot of different options in a week that you can do for breakfasts, lunches, dinners, what have you. And it's nice because it's a variety, but it's also foods that can be used for multiple purposes.